Time now for Wild's Weird and Wonderful from the world of baseball. Jacob deGrom, another outing, another dominant, fantastic, awesome performance, striking out 14 in this one, and yet Mets still lose. They pulled a Mets, although they're playing well. Kevin Wilds, what else you got for us?
Oh, first inning, Twins, White Sox. Nelson Cruz at the plate. Hits a bouncing ball in third. Moncada fields it, and, well, it stays there. Stays in his glove. Gets it bopped out. Ball wedged in glove. Cruz gets credited with a hit. The glove gets credited for having the holes in the glove too big. Moving on to Brewers Pirates, bottom of the second. Ben Gamble hits a bomb to center. And watch this. Former Red Sox great Jackie Bradley Jr. like, oh, it's out of the park. No, it's not. Fakes it to catch Stallings off first place. It's a brilliant play, double play, courtesy of Jackie Bradley Jr. I would like to have him back on the Red Sox, but it's not to be, and that's the weird and the wonderful from the national pastime, Jenna.
I love it. Good stuff. Let's get back to the NFL, and one of the teams to watch heading into this season, the Cleveland Browns. I mean, coming off an impressive season, went 11-5, then took down the Steelers in the playoffs, then they gave the Chiefs a tough game after that, and as a result, Pro Football Focus has them, the Browns, as the second best roster in the AFC, behind only the Chiefs. Brandon, you buying that Baker and the Browns can legitimately challenge Kansas City this season?
Oh, Jenna, absolutely not. Let me be clear here. No, listen, I'm going to talk all ball. I'm not going to let our personal business get involved, trickle into this conversation, Nick. I'm talking all ball. And I want to be clear here. The Chiefs, there's no competition with the Chiefs. The only competition and only person that the Chiefs need to look out for is health. That is absolutely it. The Chiefs are just next level, and here's why. When you saw, if you go back and watch what they did to the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs, you'll immediately understand why no one can compete with them in the AFC. Because there's no defense in the AFC that is extremely smart. You have to be extremely smart to stop the Kansas City Chiefs. You also have to have pressure on the quarterback. You got to have a D-line that can get to the quarterback or a scheme. So when you look at the AFC and you look at how it's built, there's nobody that can slow this guy down. So if, injuries set in and guys start going down, then yeah, we can change the conversation. But everything goes as planned and everyone's healthy, then there's no one that can compete in the AFC. Like what they did to the Buffalo Bills was like an NFL team playing against a JV team. Those guys dropped back in coverage. They didn't read, okay, two went here, so one's coming in, so let me slide over. They just took what the coach put on paper and got right to their spots. The cover two, Mike linebacker, my job against this coverage on this play is to go 5 yards back and just stay right here. But you have to be smart. We talk about football IQ. You got to be able to say, okay, 90% of the time when number two, the guy in the slot, goes to the flat, there's probably going to be something coming in. So let me slide a little bit so Patrick Mahomes doesn't have these big old holes and seams to throw to. So that is the problem. I mean, maybe the Baltimore Ravens can do it, but then you have some challenge on the offensive side. They can't throw the ball. So Nick, I know you love the Chiefs, and so this should be exciting news for you, but I just don't see anyone competing against them outside of health.
Yeah, listen, it's been shown over the last couple of years, the way to beat the Chiefs is have 4/5 of their offensive line injured, have every incomplete pass you throw called pass interference, and be allowed to punch Patrick Mahomes in the face. You do those things, you can beat the Chiefs, otherwise you're in trouble. So we agree that the Chiefs are head and shoulders the best team in the AFC. The question really is, who's the second best? And to me, there are 4 teams in that conversation. I think Brandon would say there's 5 teams in that conversation. So the 4 teams we agree on, I think, are Browns, Ravens, Bills, Titans. Brandon would add the Colts, I think.
What's my 5th?
Of those 5 teams, the Colts.
Yeah, you know
Brandon's high
me.
on the Colts.
You get me.
Of those 5 teams, I believe the Browns are clearly the best. I think the Browns of those 5 teams have the best overall roster. I think the Browns of those 5 teams, you could argue, and I think basically all of them are very well coached, you could argue that in very small samples, Stefanski has shown himself to be the best, at least offensive coach of the group. John Harbaugh, you got to give him credit for what he's done over 20 or nearly 20 years or 15 plus years in Baltimore. I do think the Browns, if you were to put the question like this, the Chiefs just got transferred to the NFC. Who's the favorite in the AFC? To me, it would be the Browns. To me, the most likely AFC championship game is Chiefs-Browns. And I do think, Wilds, that there is an argument to be made
so
that
much.
What? Well, let me go back to you then, Brandon. Because the only question mark people really have on the Browns,
I wanted to wait till
the
September
secondary
to get
needs to be
spicy
better.
here.
No, we can do it right now. We can do it right now.
Talk to me.
The real question mark is that people have is Baker. But the thing is this. Baker in his last 5 years of football has had one bad year. It was year 2 in Cleveland with arguably the most unqualified NFL head coach of the modern era. He was amazing in college at every stop. He was excellent his rookie year, and he was very, very good last year, particularly the second half of last year after Odell went down. So I believe in the surplus of results rather than the outlier year 2. So if for those reasons, I think the thing is this. If you believe in Baker, as I do, and I know not everyone does, the Browns are a great team. If you don't believe in Baker, then they're still a good team. But if you believe in him, Brandon, then they're a great team. They're just, I don't think they're as good as the Chiefs, but they're a great team.
Listen, you have OBJ. Obviously, he's coming back from an ACL. You haven't been able to figure out this OBJ and Baker Mayfield relationship. And then on the defensive side, you have a major hole in your defense at the linebacker position. And then the secondary, they got some good dudes, and they opened it up some more this offseason. They want to go play dime and get more speed on the field. But I just don't know that they'll be able to hold up against a Baltimore Ravens team who's going to double down on the run. So you may not even get out of your division to even compete with the Chiefs. So I just don't know why you're so high. Well, obviously, you just said why you're high on them. I just wish I can convince you to come to the other side. And yes, wow, it's the Colts. That is a team to look out for. Carson Wentz will be next level next year. So, you know, this whole discussion about the Browns to me is just ludicrous.
Okay, here's the most interesting thing about the Browns. The Browns play the Chiefs in week 1, and I think they're in an odd win-win scenario. Here's why. Last year, remember, they opened up against the Ravens, and they got shellacked. And it's like, same old Browns. Then they went and rattled off 4 straight. And then they would go on these little winning streaks. And, like, that loss was actually, like, kind of good for them. They sort of got refocused. All right, like, put that behind us. They won 4 straight. So now they play the Chiefs. So if the Chiefs blow them out, they'll be like, it was just like last year against the Ravens. But, Nick, what if the Browns win? If the Browns win against the Chiefs, and you see the brand new guy, we've got Jadeveon Clowney there. I want to see how that defense puts pressure on Mahomes. And you guys have a rebuilt offensive line, which I know you're very happy about, but maybe it takes a little bit, a few games to be perfectly in tune. If the Browns end up beating the Chiefs, I think we get to see, like, college Baker. We get to see Baker playing at a confidence that we've never seen him play before in the NFL. It's not like the, lowly Browns. It will be the first game in a long time since the Raiders ran their bus around your stadium that you saw, like, whoa, this team really put a beating on Kansas City. Let's see what they can do.
Yeah, so it's an interesting hypothetical, but since the Chiefs' stated goal is to go 20-0, I seriously doubt they're going to start 0-1, kind of undercut the whole goal of the entire season. But I do think for the Browns, it is, Brandon mentioned the OBJ-Baker connection, and that is a major question mark. That has not worked so far. And as much as I'm a fan of Baker, I'm just as, if not a bigger fan of Odell, and I would like to see that work. We have seen his offseason workout, and it looks like he is as healthy as a guy can possibly be.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Coming off that injury. And so I think Odell's going to be great, but Baker has to not be forcing the ball to him the way he was early in last season, and I think that worked against him. What I'm surprised by, Brandon, is that there hasn't been more buzz surrounding, and I'm not just talking about from you, the Bills. It feels like the Bills were the